In this video, I've got a recording of a call that I had with Morten. Morten is a fellow YouTuber and he earns a full-time income from his websites. Morten has got loads of experience when it comes to creating websites. He's currently got his own portfolio of sites that generate him a very healthy income, with some of those sites generating 5 figures on their own. And yeah, during the call, I ask him lots of questions about his sites, and he shares with me lots of tips and ideas on things like writing content, on SEO, and on monetization. So I think we should get straight into the call. One quick thing before we do, Morten has just launched his own course where he's basically packaged up all his knowledge and all his experience and put it into a fantastic course, which is very reasonably priced. It's also got a community section within the members area, which looks really exciting as it's starting to build up, where members can share ideas, share experiences, and basically just work together on their websites. Because as you probably know, working at home, building websites and doing all that kind of stuff can be quite a lonely existence. And it's very useful, I think, to have people around you that you can share ideas and just compare notes. So you'll find a link to that course in the description. It is an affiliate link, so yeah, thanks very much if you use it. But anyway, let's get started. Roll the tape. Okay, so I'm joined now by Morten. Thank you very much for joining me today, Morten, and
Alex,
sharing
thanks for having me.
No problem. Sharing story and all that kind of stuff. So for those people that maybe aren't familiar with your work, do you just want to kind of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've been trying to, I guess you can say, fly under the radar until January this year. So 12 months ago, I started out on YouTube, documenting my journey with passive income, and I was an SEO consultant for many years. After I had a small e-commerce adventure for a couple of years that gave me a lot of debt, so I needed to get out of that, start a consultant thing, and then over time I ventured into just running my own portfolio of sites. So that's what I've been doing for quite a while now.
Okay, so do you do any SEO consultancy now, or is that all gone?
No, I don't do it anymore. So I did that for a lot of years, I think since 2010, and I just wanted to do something else. I like to do something new once in a while.
Yeah, that's fine. So how long would you say you've been?
People inside. Sorry.
So how long would you say you've been doing the internet marketing? Kind of for yourself.
Yeah, for around 13 years now.
Okay.
So since 2008, I started my first site, and even before that, I was looking at different sites. But I wouldn't say I was into online marketing. I was just messing around with WordPress and setting up sites and wanted to sell stuff that was impossible to sell,
So when was the point where you actually thought, okay, I'm going to start doing affiliate stuff, I'm start going to do content-based sites? Was there one thing that you saw? Was there another person's site, or did someone say something to you? What was the trigger to kind of make you want to jump into it and just do your own sites?
Yeah, I was running a pretty, well, for me at the time, pretty big e-commerce site. We had like 8-10 employees in Denmark for the Scandinavian and Northern Europe market around photo products. And so I saw from the inside what it is like to have products on the shelf, having people come to pick up packages every day and run, just everything that goes into having. So we both had the production and all the shipping, and it's just a basic e-commerce store.
Wow, a proper company with staff and stock and all that stuff.
Yeah, and all the stuff that went into that. So I figured at that point, okay, this is not what I want to do, because we did it to gain some more freedom. Maria and I started it together in 2007 or 2008, and so we figured we want to do something else. And then we started the Go Downsize blog after a while. We also had some other blogs before that didn't do as well. So that was the turning point for us when we quit that company, because it was just 60 hours per week and no freedom and too many competitors. And yeah, we're just waiting to get Amazoned, I guess you could say.
So I guess that's the whole goal with doing what we do. Is it's not really about the money as such, is it? It's more about the time freedom that it enables you to do. And
that's definitely what's for me, having a toddler now also. We wanted to get this set up before we had kids and so on. Yeah.
So I know you don't like to share too much of the details on your income, but you can say that you are earning a healthy full-time income from what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't do income reports, but I do log into my sites once in a while and show people numbers from AdFrive or Ezoic and stuff. And you also asked me about this yesterday when we talked a bit about it. So I pulled up a number. People always like numbers. So Go Downsize is doing pretty well these days, also due to the pandemic, because we're talking about RVing and boating and stuff that is just ways that you can go on vacation these days. So over the last couple of months, it has been hitting a new high around 26 grand per month. So that's definitely one of my bigger sites. So yes, I have a portfolio of 5-6 bigger sites and also some smaller sites.
Yeah, you don't share them all publicly, I don't think, do you?
No, I share a couple of sites, and
okay,
we can talk more.
Everything that Morten shares, I'll put in the description, of course. You'll find all the links to all the relevant stuff there. Okay, so that's a very healthy number. Is that generated from the ads mainly, or is that an affiliate income?
It's a mix of ads and affiliates. So lately, over the last year, since I've been scaling up quite a lot on the writer side, I haven't implemented all the affiliate links yet. There's a lot of articles that still needs to be monetized, but I like my sites to be, if they cannot be 50-50, then get as close as possible to be affiliate and ads. But now it's skewed a bit toward the ad side.
Okay.
For that one.
And because you're running Ezoic, aren't you, on your sites? How long have you been using Ezoic?
Yeah, I've been using Ezoic for around a year, I think. Oh, is it? No, actually, it's 1.5 years.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. No, sorry, it's 2 years. Oh man, time is running.
Time flies when you're having fun. And were you on AdSense before then, or some other ad network?
I didn't use ads before, actually. I didn't think there was too much in it. I've been testing AdSense a couple of times many years back and just figured it wasn't worth my time. But after I started out with Ezoic, it just started to make a lot of sense.
And quite a lot of money as well by the sound of it. So that's perfect. Yeah, I've not been a big fan of ads. I've always been reluctant to kind of put ads on my site. I think they make sites slow. I think they make sites messy. And all the rest of it. And I also thought that possibly they detract from the affiliate offers that you might have within your content. But it appears that's not the case. And I've proved myself wrong a number of times that ads generate a good income, and they definitely shouldn't be overlooked. And Ezoic is one company that can really help you get up and running.
Yeah, I like how you can work with the number of ads per page. So some of my best URLs for affiliate offers, then I go in and disable ads altogether, and just on a handful of pages sometimes that do really well with affiliate offers. But many times I've found that, turning the ads on and off doesn't impact the affiliate part of things, for me at least. So, but also I don't go overboard with the ads. I know you can definitely turn it up higher than I do. I like to just still have it readable. And
not overdone. Yeah, you do have to watch those guys at the ad networks. They'll stuff an ad in between every single sentence if they could. Okay, well, let's wind it back. Let's go back to the basics, because I know a lot of people that watch my videos are people that maybe haven't started their online projects yet, or they're thinking about it. You've been in the game for quite a while, and you've obviously been through quite a few things. What would be your number one bit of advice to someone that's thinking of starting up, or indeed has just started up?
Okay, so my number one advice, I think, just from the top of my head, would be to team up with somebody who's doing something similar, because I see so many people starting out with a great niche, a great idea, a great everything, and then after posting 5 or 10 blog posts, they just, life gets in the way.
You start off with all that energy and excitement, and you jump into it, and then suddenly
there's something else that's interesting too, or maybe you start too many sites or something. Like just commit to something, and that's also why I'm really strong on community, and that's also why I started on YouTube, actually, to get some more network, because I didn't find many people here in Denmark doing what I do. I wanted to meet people who also do this at scale and has been in this game for a while.
So who did you team up with? I know you do quite a bit with your wife. Is that who you're talking about, or do you have any other business partners or coaches or mentors?
No. My wife and I actually we've been together for 13 years, so she's not new.
No, but in terms of you work on your sites and businesses together as well, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We definitely do. And then I'm in some learning groups, and I've been at a few masterminds that gave me some good network. And that ongoing encouragement, because
I think one thing that a lot of people do, and you've just kind of touched on this, is they jump into a project, they get excited, they publish maybe 5-10 articles, and then they don't see anything happening. So
yeah, exactly.
They think, oh, this is a waste of time. It's not working. What am I doing wrong? You know, the doubt comes in, the fear comes in.
Yeah, because you write directly into the desert with your sites, and many people don't know that it takes up to a year to see some real traffic, and then they just bail on it, and after a year they see, oh, those 5 articles actually got some traction, and then maybe they get back. It's just such a pity they didn't stick at it, because then they'll have this nice hockey stick we all love, right?
And then they've had 500 articles by that point or whatever. Yeah. So okay, let's go into the details there. In your experience, how long does it take for a site to actually start looking like it's moving, and how much content do you think a site needs before it really starts to do something?
Yeah, so in my course, I advise people to obviously have post as much as possible in the start, but I like people to start with at least 20 articles that we figure out that they can rank for. Just to get it a proper start, and the quicker the better. But I mean, I think at least a couple of articles per week in the beginning to get some traction. I tried doing some testing around this. I had a site where I just dropped them on very, very, very slowly, and it took like double the time to take off. And when I say take off, it can vary a lot. So it depends a lot, of course, on the traffic to the articles you're talking about, and the number and the competition, obviously. So I just funny example, I just checked some numbers before I went on here. I just beat my own record, and I have a site that's almost exactly 1 year old, and it just hit 75,000 page views now. So that's the fastest I've been able to grow it. And that's
how much content has that site got? Sorry.
That's with one writer. I think the site has around 250 articles on it right now. So of course, most of that hasn't had any time to rank yet. So,
and in terms of
a pretty good push in the beginning.
Okay, so in terms of the time frame, when did that kind of start to do the hockey stick, which everyone talks about? Was it towards the end of the year?
Definitely, it totally looks like a hockey stick. It definitely does, and it doesn't always look like that in my experience, but this one does. So a lot happened. It almost doubled over the last month. So I'm excited
to see how it
goes.
Once it starts to go, and
because it catches that momentum right. The newest articles will start to get a little bit of traffic, and then it's just all working together nicely.
So patience and consistency is a key message there.
Yeah, and sometimes, of course, it takes a lot longer. And this is a crazy site. It's the best, I would say. And so definitely don't expect that. This is by far an outlier to me. But sometimes it goes a lot slower. I think the most important thing is just to see some momentum. So you see movement and you see acceleration when you start publishing continuously.
Because that can then motivate you to do more and more.
Yeah.
So have you ever had any sites that just haven't worked, that you've had to just like throw the towel in and say, okay, that's just not working. I've published, I've been working on it. And so has that happened?
Yeah, also because I'm doing a lot of stupid testing just to test if stuff works. So I did a site that was just very, very much a YMYL site. So I started this early on when people were talking about this, just to test it out. I did, zero link building, zero anything. So with no authority, just a brand new domain. And it is starting to get some traffic, because I think it's almost 2 years old now and it has like a couple of thousand.
So what sort of content have you been adding to that?
Yes, from I think 35 articles. So it should have a lot more traffic by now. So it's definitely getting held back from this YMYL thing. And I have another one that was just growing super slowly. Also one of those where I tried to drip the articles on just way too slow on purpose, just to see what was happening, and that also didn't take off. But I think I'm pretty confident that one will take off eventually.
So is there like a clear indicator that a niche or a site is not a good one, or you just never know? You just have to kind of sometimes call it sometimes.
Yeah, well, I advise people to steer clear of YMYL topics, especially if this is their first run at it, because there's so many things you need to learn. So in order to build that authority and trust and all that stuff online, we don't even know what it looks like. There's a lot of opinions, but not so much data, because Google is not giving us much there, are they? No.
So just to clarify, that's a niche. The YMYL stands for your money or your life. So that could be a niche in health or money, anything like that directly has an effect on someone's
nutrition,
well-being.
Aerobic, stuff like that. Yeah.
So that brings us on nicely to talk a little bit about niches or niches. Do you have how do you go about coming up with a niche? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different ways, and we're going to talk a little bit about Morten's course towards the end of this video. Again, linked in the description. So obviously I don't want you to share all of your secrets, but just a little tip for someone that's maybe struggling to come up with a good niche for or can't settle on a niche. What's the first thing you do when you're trying to think of a new niche?
Yeah, so first, of course, I think of past experiences like hobbies and interests, and also stuff that I would eventually maybe want to know about. I also dig into hobbies in the family. If I know somebody, if I grew up around somebody, so I have access to products, for example. For example, all of my family are hunters. So it's just a pretty bad example, probably, because some of that would maybe not be the best niche, but to just see where you have access to somebody with knowledge, and think about just all your social circles to see. Because if you could borrow like expensive gear, and that's just make it so much easier to do a few YouTube videos to pop into your articles.
Yeah,
for filler stuff, and also of course to dig into where you have enough products, enough commercial intent. And in the course, I have some pretty extensive lists of products that you can find around that's inside the course, but some really, really extensive lists where you can dive into the commercial intent and stuff. Yeah.
So there's obviously two sorts of different sites, really. You have the kind of more commercial intent ones where you're talking a lot more about products and stuff, but then you also have sites that are just more informational content where you're just kind of helping people find advice, and it may or may not include a product. Are you drawn towards one of them, or do you have a mix of sites like that in your portfolio?
Well, I prefer niches that kind of do both. So there's some commercial intent, and there's some products where you can talk about informational stuff. For example, how to use X, what is the best for this. That's maybe not a commercial search phrase, but when you can teach people about products and about something that has some commercial intent. For example, on Go Downsize, I have advice for boats with small cabins or boats under this price. It's not something you would buy online and put an affiliate link on, but since there's such a strong buyer's intent on it anyway, I mean, the advertisers just go crazy for stuff like that. So sometimes you can hit a good balance there, where you will obviously have a lot of products to talk about, but you'll also just have some good commercial intention behind the more informational stuff or the educational stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That tends to bump up the RPM and the ad revenue like a lot. They can double it.
Wow, yeah, because you're providing information, you're helping someone fix a problem. And in order for them to fix that problem, they may need to purchase something.
Yeah, or maybe they already purchased it, but it's so product focused on the search itself. So the advertisers might not make that distinction either. So it's just since you have some sort of product name or service in the search phrase, it just makes sense for them to bid on it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So how do you come up with ideas for your content? Because I know a lot of your sites have got, maybe thousands of articles on them. Have you got a tip for someone who's struggling to come up with ideas for content for their site?
Yeah, I use the Google autocomplete a lot. And also the people also ask method. I guess most people are familiar with that. Start typing something into Google, and then I do different stuff to sort of dive deeper into that, like behind the search intent, figure out what's the intention behind it, and sometimes combine smaller topics into bigger topics. And I have some tips in the course on how to figure out how much gets searched, because in my experience, the search volume in the keyword tools is not that reliable, because it will just tell you the number for one keyword, and many times an article ranks for hundreds of search phrases, and if not several hundreds. So it's pretty hard to dig up those numbers anywhere. So yeah,
it is. But you're saying, so just basically search around on Google and click on what other people ask and all the kind of related searches stuff that Google provides, and that should be enough to give you some good inspiration for your content.
Yeah, then I really rely a lot on just common sense. I mean, if I was getting into this, just really thinking about what might people look for, and if they are to buy these type of products, what would everybody think about? And then going into sub aspects of that. And so I guess not so much tools, but more a combination of Google. And then over time, as I see what starts to rank, You can also dive into Google Search Console to see where am I getting a lot of impressions, meaning that there's more stuff here that definitely gets searches, but I'm not getting clicks from it yet. So I might not have a headline that works for that. And forums and Quora and Reddit, just see what people talk about, to see when I can dive up some topics that haven't been covered well yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of places, isn't there, out there that you can find what people are asking. And generally, as you know, a great way to approach content is to just answer people's questions and kind of fill those gaps. So
Definitely.
people ask questions. You say on Quora, they ask them on Google, they ask them on Amazon, and there's loads of.
I believe Moz, like the SEO tool Moz, they came out with a study a couple of years ago that I think they said 15% of all searches include a question word like what, how, why. But I think almost every search on Google is basically a question, right? You're asking about something. There's something you want, at least. You're asking for some type of information. So you just need to figure out what the search intent is and answer that better.
So, in terms of traffic, do you get the majority of your traffic from Google Search, or do you do anything else? Do you do any social media, Pinterest, Facebook, any of that stuff?
Yeah, so my main traffic driver is by far Google organic searches. So that's the main thing. And then I have some sites with some substantial amount of traffic from Pinterest. Also some direct traffic, which I attribute to being present on YouTube. So people see the videos. I have this little watermark on the Go Downsize channel. But I don't do too much YouTube. We just have this one channel for Go Downsize, and then obviously I have the Passive Income Geek YouTube channel. But I don't do a lot of YouTube. So for most of my sites, it's 80-90% Google search. I find that to do best for both ads and affiliate and also info products and other stuff.
Okay, let's talk about Google Search then quickly. What is the trick to getting ranked on Google? Everyone wants to know, what SEO is. What do you need to do? And they've heard of PBNs, they've heard of Google Search Console, they've heard of SEO plugins. But if you had to just sum it up, how do you rank on Google?
Yeah, so the thing I always talk about is to find topics that are what I call underserved, like topics where the first couple of articles up there are either not on point or bad articles or short articles or user-generated content, something where you feel like you can write a better piece of content. And then I really dive deep into the intention behind the search. So if you ask Google, they will many times on Twitter just come with some very, very simple, annoying answers like the best content. What's the main ranking factor? The best content. Yeah. But I actually think it's true. I've been beating some huge sites sometimes just with better content because it's better. So I feel like Google is picking up on these user signals now. They're definitely becoming better at figuring out if this article is better and more on point. So if you keep people longer, they're more satisfied, they can read all these little user signals, I feel like. So yeah, sometimes you can definitely beat bigger sites with better stuff.
And so it doesn't necessarily, if you've got good content, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out and build a ton of links and do loads of SEO optimization. In fact, I think you're in the club that doesn't actually use an SEO plugin on your sites.
Yeah, I don't have any SEO plugins. No, I let Google compose my meta descriptions, and they'll just grab my headline. And I feel like having the same headline to be the meta description will just satisfy the user more, because what they click on is what they wanted to see, right? So sometimes I see people have one meta description, then a completely different headline without them thinking about it, because they want to attract clicks. And then when they land there, it feels like this is another article, right? So by people recognizing one by one, this is the exact article I was looking for, and letting Google compose the meta description according to the search they did, I'm pretty sure I get more traffic that way.
Because in theory, Google will also maybe customize the headline and the meta description that it shows on the search results page based on the user's keywords and their search term.
Yeah, not so much the headline, but the meta description for sure. And it also, I mean, more and more, even if you serve them the meta description tag, many times, most of the time these days, they will not use it. They will still generate their own. They will not respect your meta description. So I feel like it's going away anyway.
It probably is. I mean, all those meta tags, because I remember back in the day of SEO, and you will as too, I'm sure, as you used to be doing it, there used to be a meta keywords tag where you could tell Google what the keywords for the actual page were, because Google back then wasn't able to crawl it very well.
Yeah, they probably didn't have the crawling power, like you said, and also they used to ping us with the errors in Google Search Console back in the days when they called it Google Webmaster Tools. If you didn't set a proper meta title, meta description, and so on, if you didn't have it, they will report errors, but they don't do that anymore because I feel like they don't need it anymore.
No, in theory, Google wants to be able to read an article like a human being does, and a human being doesn't look at things like meta description or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It just wants to read it like a human and then work out what the article's about. So even things like keywords are probably not as important as they used to be, because people used to want to stuff keywords into every paragraph and all that kind of stuff. It's not needed anymore because Google has got to a point where it's able to know what the theme and what the subject of an article is all about.
Yeah, I see some crazy examples these days. I wish I could remember. Just yesterday, I was doing some topic research for one of my sites, and I was checking on a search phrase, and the number one ranking up there is something entirely different until I realized this is exactly what people actually need when they type this in. But the keyword was not on the site. It was not at all in the headline, not at all even on the article, this phrase I was searching for, but it was actually what I needed. It was not what I thought I was looking for.
So Google actually knew that.
Yeah, one example, for example, I've been using that a couple of times, is I think it is a word, is a chestnut. I think that's the same as a peanut. Or maybe it's an earth nut. I can't remember. I'm not a native English speaker, but it's a word that's completely the same, or 99% the same as a peanut. And if you Google something like is an earth nut healthy for dogs, then you will see an article where the word is not on the page because it's about peanuts, and they realize it's the same thing. So it's just, and then they've been doing that for years. I think that's a 2-year-old example. I see it get crazier than that right now. So I don't feel like you even need to have the keyword in even on the page. Of course, you should do it, but it means that sometimes you'll rank for stuff you never intended to rank for because you have the answer to that search query.
Yeah, so you just need good, well-written content, and
just be super, super helpful, and then Google will pick it up because people will like it and click it and stay there.
Yeah, but you must do a little bit of link building, do you? Or do you ever do any guest posts or anything like that?
No, I don't. I just start with a ton of underserved topics, and then the traffic is coming pretty quickly. I mean, when you start with articles that hasn't been written, when it's completely just user-generated content, just tiny questions, and you'd be amazed how much traffic you can get from what you would think would be tiny and stupid beginners' questions. So when you do that, I see the traffic is starting to come pretty quickly.
Wow. And then I guess
I think I have a video on my page, on my YouTube channel. I think it's called rank much faster, something like that. I show exactly how long time it took for me to rank 3 new sites, 3 of my latest 3 sites I started early this year, and last year I did no link building, and you'll see how fast the traffic is coming. So it was between 5 to 8 months to get the first 5,000 page views, and then links slowly will start dripping in.
I mean, yeah, if you've got a good site with good content, then links should naturally come anyway. I mean, that's the whole idea why Google count links in the first place, is because they count them as a vote of confidence for a good site.
Yeah, and that's my approach to link building, I guess you can say. But I don't call it link building. I just have some strategies to attract these links more organically and more naturally. So this is specific types of content that I dug up from my site. Some I just bumped into accidentally, and some I did on purpose from across thousands of articles. I see what gained me links, and then I try to build on that and sort of distill that into formulas that for articles that will get more links naturally. Not like hundreds of links, but sometimes it will, but just a little here and there.
You don't need that many, do you? I mean, especially if you get some links from some quite authority sites, you don't need too many.
No, and I feel like as soon as the snowball is rolling, and if you have great content and people find it, and you have a great looking site, people will link to you for sure.
So you mentioned social media and Pinterest. I don't want to spend too long on Pinterest, but what's your approach to Pinterest? Does it work on all niches, or is it just suitable for the more kind of visual niche, whatever that may be? So what's your approach to Pinterest?
Yeah, I only use it for what you would say more visual niches. So for example, on my site Go Downsize, we have a lot about interior design and house plans, like interior plans and layouts for apartments and stuff. And then that makes a lot of sense. But for other sites, I don't do Pinterest. So I guess most people know it's a very much female audience, and it's a very visual search engine. So if you're in that niche, or you can dig up some stuff around that, it can make a lot of sense and can give you a ton of links to some of my posts on Go Downsize, where I just compile some really eye candy stuff,
Yeah.
in a long list post. So I didn't build this for Google at all. It was just to pin those to Pinterest and get those going crazy in there, and people grab them and link to me as a source. So that stuff can definitely work also to attract links. So my purpose is not always to get traffic. Sometimes it's just for them to go crazy in the Pinterest engine. But I don't use it all that much. To be honest, sorry, this is a very long answer, but I feel like I feel like they will go the same route as Facebook. So the organic traffic and the free traffic from Facebook totally died, as we all know, back in a couple of years back. And I'm afraid the same stuff will happen to Pinterest. It didn't happen as fast as I thought it would, but so they did turn into a public company. So I feel like they will have to look after the investors.
So you'd have to basically start paying and running ads and stuff to get anything.
Yeah, that's what I feel. But it's still a good traffic driver. I just thought it would die out, so I didn't invest as much in it. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you use any tools with Pinterest? Because I was thinking of what's the one with the tail? Tailwind, is it?
The Tailwind one. Yeah, I've been using that for a couple of sites, and I also had a VA do that for me. I don't do that for the reason I just shared, but I did get some pretty good traffic to a couple of my sites. Also, I have a site that I share on my channel called Sewing Machine Talk about crafting and sewing and stuff. And there it makes perfect sense because it's visual, it's female audience, and so that gave that site some good traffic, especially in the beginning also. So sometimes it just makes perfect sense that you just have to do it. That many times you don't have to do it.
No, you don't feel you have to for every site.
Yeah, in my experience, you definitely don't have to do it. You can definitely rank without, and that's also what I'm teaching in my course. You don't have to do YouTube and Pinterest and a lot of crazy stuff outside your site in order to rank. I've found that to be true many times. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about your course I've just got one more question, I think, and it's just around monetization. Sure. We've talked about ads and we've talked about affiliate, but let's just go into a bit more detail on the affiliate side. Recently, obviously, Amazon reduced their commission rates that they're paying affiliates. Are all your sites monetized by Amazon, or do you not use Amazon, or do you have other merchants that you promote? What's kind of your affiliate mix?
Yeah, I use Amazon as a fallback, and I've been doing that for a long time. I mean, I was never really a big fan of Amazon for many reasons, but I like the other big networks like Commission Junction, ShareSale, AvantLink, and ClickBank. I use them much more when I have the chance, and I'll always test those out. I also feel like I get chances to work closer with the companies. I like to reach out to the companies that do well, so I test a bunch of brands and e-commerce stores, and when I figured out something that works, I work with them to get discounts, to get better prices, better commissions, and this is just impossible with Amazon. Nobody will pick up the phone if you
that makes
call
sense.
These guys. So if I can't get anything else to convert, I just fall back to Amazon. Okay.
I've found that with those other programs, it can be difficult to get approved. I don't know, especially with the Avant link. Is it? I've struggled with them.
Yeah.
And I've also found that the commission rates are they're not that much better than Amazon, but the conversion rate is often quite a bit lower. How have you overcome those things?
Yeah, sometimes I've found some really, really good, strong programs in there, and sometimes people just need to reach out to for example, with Commission Junction, you don't get a dedicated affiliate manager, but you can still reach out to the support and say, I have a site in this niche. What would you recommend? What do you see? Because sometimes the numbers, they have different metrics. Some, what do they call it? Like the bestsellers and the top rated ones and the EPC rating and stuff like that. Sometimes those will be based on old data, or if it's a new store, they might not be updated yet. So I like to talk to the networks to figure out with them what's working, and for sure you should wait till you have at least some traffic so you can start generating some sales. It's the same with Amazon and the other ones. Not for ClickBank though. You can just get registered. You don't need to wait till you can generate sales. You can just log in and see the deals. But yeah, I like to work with them to figure out what's working and to have their recommendations before I just start messing around with it. Because many times they will see, okay, this site over here is killing it with that. It might not be able to show numbers or anything, but they can point you sometimes in the right directions. And then we just need to listen and test that out.
No, I think that's great if you can work closely with a company like that. Okay, that's great. I tell a lie, I've got one more question actually before we talk about your course.
Awesome.
What's your end game or your end goal with your sites? Have you ever sold any of your sites? Is that the plan, or are you just going to kind of hold them for as long as you possibly can because they're generating income? So, why would you sell, I suppose? What's your thoughts on that?
I sold a site recently. I sold a site that I also shared on the channel called animalhow.com. And that was a pretty good sale. Somebody from the my YouTube audience reached out, I think, 3 or 4 times. And then in the end, I sold it to him. And it was a very good process. He's also in my course. He's a really cool guy. And so my plan is to sell one site every year, but I think I start too many sites to do that. I probably start selling some more sites because I just love starting new sites. I mean, I really love seeing that initial traffic. I love starting new, and I always come up with new domain ideas and new niches that I need to go into just to see how it would do. So I guess I'll be selling more and more sites.
Okay, so a bit of selling and a bit of holding, I guess.
Yeah. I like a healthy mix of both. I like to sometimes just take home the cash and put it in something else.
Yeah, I guess that's good. And is there do you use sites like Flipper or Empire Flippers, or do you just sell it directly with people on YouTube or on Facebook?
Well, I've sold like 3 bigger sites, including this one, and a lot of small sites, and it has always been in personal networks. So I know a lot of people in the SEO community here in Denmark that bought some sites from me, and this other guy was from the YouTube channel. So I think since I have the audience on my YouTube channel, there's a lot of people who reached out to me and said, if you ever wanted to sell another site, just please ask me because I pay higher.
Okay, well that's good. And what, you just use an escrow setup, that kind of thing, and.
Yeah, I told him that we should have to use escrow, but he wanted to do it without. So I said, okay, then just transfer the money. And he did. So
he obviously trusted you. That was fine.
Yeah, the risk was on him. He saw me on YouTube, so he trusted me. So that was great. That was
good.
Easy.
So you managed to sell without any fees or any agency fees, no escrow fees. Perfect.
Yeah, it took like 5 minutes because this guy was a programmer. So I just gave him the logins he needed, and this site was on AdFry. It was so easy with these guys. I just had them create an account for him, and then they transferred it over. I had to sign a paper online, just this online document saying this and this date. They can transfer it unless they hear something back. And then there was a little delayment actually in the payment. So like, I don't see the money, and he had to pay in different chunks because it was a lot of money, and he was living in one country, sending the money from his home country, and long story short, we figured it all out. It was so easy working with AdFry on this, and I'm sure it's the same with the Ezoic and the networks. They gotta have procedures for that. So he just took over my account with the whole history, just moved to his account, and that's
perfect. Yeah, and what did he send the money? What, via bank transfer or PayPal or something?
Yeah, just a wired bank transfer. So
perfect.
Yeah, so it's very easy.
Okay, well, let's talk about your course. Obviously, a lot of the stuff we've talked about is in the course, but in a lot more detail and in a bit more of a structured format. First off, just tell us a little bit about your course. It's obviously based on your experiences over the last, many years. Just sum up your course and who's it for and what's it all about.
Yeah. So it's an what you can say all-compassing course. So everything is in there, from getting the niche idea, finding the best domain name, doing topic research. That's what I call keyword research. And everything from creating content and outsourcing it and monetizing it and social media. So it's actually a bundle of 9 courses, you can say. And the topic research, and I'm looking at it right now, and the choosing a good niche and the writing great content is definitely the biggest subcourse or modules, I would call it, inside the course. Okay. So there's everything, and I had some friends of mine going over it who know nothing about blogging at all, because I wanted to know when I had some crazy lingo, stuff that people don't understand. So I cleared that up, explained it in more detail. So a beginner should be able to take it from scratch and understand everything and just do it. But I take it pretty far beneath that. I take it to full automated outsourcing and some pretty advanced monetization strategies and a lot of different types of content you can write that will boost your revenue as you get bigger and you can compete for the more good stuff. So I'm pretty sure somebody with experience can learn quite a lot.
So something for everyone, really. Beginners and people that are maybe already doing a little bit online.
Yeah, and a little shout out to Sean Mars. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's a pretty cool YouTuber from UK as well.
He's up north, They should know Sean. He's been on my channel a couple of times. We had a great chat a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
I really like him. He's just brutally honest. I love that. And he did a review of my course yesterday, I think it was. I think it's the first review, and he said that he learned a lot from it. He said that in one module he took a whole page of notes just from one module, and I know he has quite some experience. So
yeah, he knows more than most, and he hangs around with the SEO lot on Reddit and all kinds of stuff. So he knows his stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'll put a link to that video in the description as well. Okay, so how much does it cost? Let's talk about money, because sometimes courses can be very expensive.
Yeah, I wanted it to be cheaper also because I'm a new kid in town. I understand that. So it's $299 for everything. So it's just you either get everything or you don't get it, of course. So everything is in there. All those 9 courses is accessible as soon as you buy along with the community. So it's $299. Perfect.
That's not too bad. I think I've had a good look at the course, and I think you'll definitely find that kind of value in there. What inspired you to create a course? Because obviously, if everything's going quite well on your sites, why would you want to spend all the time and effort on a course? Because I know that you've been working on it for quite some time, and it isn't easy to create a good course.
No, it was definitely a lot of work.
So, what was the inspiration behind doing it?
Yeah, so as I said, I've been taking many courses over the years, and I just felt like I could do a more updated course with some new. I felt like I had some fresh tactics and fresh takes on some things, and then I also wanted to. I mean, the whole reason also for doing the YouTube channel was also to build this community around my own course. And actually, I've been thinking about it for a long time, and then I decided to do it in January this year. I talked a lot about it with my wife, and the final kicker that moved me toward doing it was because I just really needed some community around myself and some network. It's pretty lonely sometimes to sit here in Denmark. There's not so many people in Copenhagen I know who's doing this stuff for the English market. And so now I have some friends in London and in the States, and I'm talking to a guy like you. I'm very fortunate to know people now. And so it has already opened so many doors that I'm very, very thankful for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to build a community. It looks like you are going to be building up a lovely community in there. I think in January, you're going to be, your community or members of your community, including Sean, I think, you're going to be creating sites alongside each other and kind of sharing your experiences and your thoughts. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, I talked to Emilia Gardner a couple of days ago, and we talked about what should I do with the community? How can I make it more interesting? How can I offer more value to people taking the course? And actually, she gave me that idea to start a site and just document everything in the community and invite people from the YouTube channel to come in and build together with us. So sort of shoulder by shoulder, we figure this out and we compare metrics and numbers. And if they get stuck and if they're not seeing the success they wanted to, and they can see everything I do, we will figure out what's wrong with the site and make sure that they help each other succeed, basically. So that's the thing I'm kind of excited about that. So we start on January 2nd.
That sounds perfect. I think the community aspect is probably going to be one of the biggest selling points of your course. Obviously, all the knowledge and information is very valuable too. But once you've kind of taken that on board, you've digested that and you've learned that, what's the next step? And I think by being part of a team where you can bounce ideas, you can share your progress, that'll be a huge help to a lot of people. So link to the course will be in the description of this video. I may even put a link up in a card as well. That is an affiliate link, of course. I think Morten will buy me a beer for each one that you buy or something like that. So
click Alex's affiliate link. He deserves it. Click his affiliate link. And I'll be happy to pay him some good commissions.
In general, I say that people maybe don't need a course, but I think, as I say, the kicker with your course is, well, it's full of really good information and it's not just a load of fluff, which a lot of courses can be. But yeah, I think the main point is going to be your community, that tight-knit kind of premium community of people that have committed and invested in creating some sites and working together. So that's going to be fantastic. So yeah, do go check out the course. And actually, Morten has kindly agreed to join me on a live stream, which will probably be in a couple of weeks. And then during that stream, he'll be live and you can ask him questions and we'll be chatting. And of course, we will be doing a giveaway. And I think we're going to have one membership that we can give away. So, of course, I will let you guys know about that. If you're not already subscribed, do subscribe now and you won't miss out on that. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I think we've come to the end. I have got one last thing actually. You mentioned Sean Mars, who is a fellow YouTuber. Is there any other YouTubers that you would recommend to people other than obviously me and you and Sean? Is there anyone else that you'd like to watch or you think's delivering good content in this space?
Yeah, I'm watching a lot of different stuff. I like to just browse new people. Also, I watch the Income School guys a lot. I've been inspired by the clean SEO approach also, and you obviously, and who else? Well, I'm hanging out on Hasta La Vista Boss. That's a social place to be, and also Emilia Gardner's channel. It's a very cool social place to hang out, and yeah, I think that's it. But I need to spend more time being social. I've just been living under a rock for a couple of months, getting the course done. So I haven't been too active even on my own community and on the YouTube comments and so on. So I'm back now.
Yeah, good.
Woke up again.
It's good to be social because, as you say, doing this kind of work, you can live like a bit of a hermit and not see anyone, and that's not good. I promised
from the beginning. I gave myself the deadline so that I would publish the course in November. So I wanted to meet that deadline, and I did. So now it's out there.
Now it's out there. You can relax a little bit, and you can start to engage and talk to people and hang out, which is great. And thank you very much for hanging out with me. Let's wrap it up now because we've been going for a good length of time. Yeah. So Morten will be on the live stream soon. Go check out his course. Go check out his YouTube channel. He shares lots of good stuff on there. But yeah, thanks for your time, Morten. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
Good. All right. Until next time. See you later. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. If you've got any questions, do leave them in the comments below. I'll make sure that Morten comes and checks the comment section. So yeah, ask away and hopefully he'll give you some good answers. Morten is going to be joining me on a live stream and we have now fixed a date for that. It's going to be on the 15th of December. So the usual time, which is 8:30 in the evening UK time. It'd be good if you could join us. And as I said, during the stream, we will be doing a giveaway and Morten has kindly offered to give away a free membership to his new course. So yeah, hopefully see you on the 15th. But that's all from me for now. Good luck with your sites. Until next time, bye for now.